As my sweet mother always said, son, if one favorite episode of Clone Wars is good, 2 is better, and 3, well, that's just good business.
Hey there, nomads of lore. I'm Sean.
And I'm Jonathan.
And together we are Mead and Mischief, your home away from no home. And today we are going to be talking about our favorite Star Wars Clone Wars episodes from season 1.
That's right.
It is no secret at this point that we both really, really enjoy all of the Star Wars animated shows, except maybe Resistance. We may or may not talk about that. Who knows? He hadn't even watched it yet.
I watched a few episodes.
I'm not sure I like it. But anyway, that's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about an amazing show, Clone Wars, and we're going to walk through our individual favorite episodes. Who knows? We may fight about it. Who knows? We may not. We may agree completely. Which would be intriguing. I kind of doubt it, but it could happen. So, what is your third favorite Clone Wars episode?
My third favorite Clone Wars episode is episode 15, which is called Trespass.
Okay.
So in that episode, they are on an ice world. There's a senator and I can't remember the senator's name. Senator Chancellor. Yeah, and they are it's a
chairman,
man and woman of this blue race that are coming to this new ice world. They're on the moon and they're coming to this ice world and they're claiming it as their own. And they realize that there's people there. There's already a race there, and this race is not nice.
Alien people.
Yeah, this race is like, no, this is our world kind of thing,
you can't have it.
Yeah, you can't have it. So, the male guy is like, oh, well, we're gonna take it by force and kill them all, and get rid of them, and whatever. And the female's like, no, we need to make peace with them and try to see if we can live together in harmony, kind of thing. And so. The episode is just the reason that I like it so much, I think, is just because of the you do see a lot of the alien races in the movies, but you don't really I guess get a real very often get a good connection emotionally to a race. And so to see these two races that are very diverse and different, and then to see, how there's the love and the war and the hate and all the things that mix together, and it's good. It shows a lot of the characters of Obi-Wan and of Anakin and Padme, I believe, is also in it, and I think Ahsoka's in it. I'm not sure. I can't remember, but
if she's in that one.
But it's just kind of expands upon the three of them, but also gives you this really good overview of new races, different races that you don't get to see a ton of in the movies or anything else that's... Is it moving like crazy? Anyway, so that's my number 3.
Cool.
What is your number 3?
So my number 3 was from season 1, obviously.
Yeah.
Episode 9, Cloak of Darkness. Dun, dun, dun. So, that episode is where Ahsoka, who is, of course, Anakin's Padawan, she goes with Master Luminara, and they're escorting the Viceroy Gunray, the, what's his face, Trade Federation guy from episode 1 and beyond. Episode, like the movie, episode 1.
Yeah.
There's this really interesting dynamic at the beginning where Luminara is not like Anakin at all. She's much more rule following, and she barely trusts Ahsoka at the beginning, and kind of it doesn't want to put responsibility on her. And of course, also Ahsoka at that point shows her naivete considerably, and she says, why do we have all these guards? This, Viceroy is not dangerous. It's no big deal. And Luminara says, don't underestimate him. And then, of course, unbeknownst to them, Asajj Ventress has been sent by Count Dooku to go and rescue / kill the Viceroy because they know that he will be giving away stuff secrets, and so they don't want that.
Yeah.
And so you get this really cool showdown with Ventress, and you get this neat relationship dynamic with Luminara and Ahsoka, and kind of all and the different fights in there, and it's a neat character moment for Ahsoka, kind of her seeing another type of master, and you know, of course, she thinks Anakin's over the moon, and she's constantly comparing everyone to him, and in that episode, that really comes to the forefront, but she kind of is able to see some different ways of doing things, which, of course, that more rounded view is kind of pivotal later in the series as well.
It is.
That's my number 3.
Awesome. All right, so my number 2 is episode 11.
Okay.
Dooku captured.
All right.
So Anakin and his master, Anakin and Obi-Wan. I don't know.
Start Some guy. You're good. Don't start over.
No, start over.
Don't do it. All right.
Okay. All right. So my number 2 out of the top 3 of Clone Wars
you got it.
is Dooku captured, which is episode 11. Yep, episode 11.
Good job.
I don't know what I'm having a hard time with.
That's all right.
Tonight I'm having a hard time. So anyway, it's with Anakin and his master Obi-Wan. They're together, and they decide, I guess they
usually are.
Yeah, they are usually together. They get told to go capture Dooku, and
right.
Then, unbeknownst to them, when they find him on this planet, he's already been captured by Hondo Tanaka.
Oh yeah.
And so the reason that this episode is second on my list is because Hondo is probably one of my top 3 or 4 characters in Rebels, and one of my top, in Clone Wars.
Both.
And probably one of my top 5 in Rebels. And he's a hilarious character. His humor is freaking funny. That's where our quote was from the beginning of the episode. And anyway, it also builds a little bit on Count Dooku, who I think, in my opinion, is not his character is not very built in episode 1, 2, and 3 of the 1, 2 of the movies.
Yeah.
So anyway,
not
builds
a ton in the cartoons either.
No,
really.
No.
I think if you want an interesting look at Count Dooku, Master and Apprentice by Claudia Gray is a good book.
Yeah. So anyway, it builds a tiny bit more on him and gives you a little bit more of his character. He's kind of the same character as he is in the movies, so it's not a ton, but it's a little bit more, and definitely gives you a good show of the two master and apprentice, Obi-Wan and Anakin, and their relationship. Who you see a pretty good relationship in the movies, but in Clone Wars, it grows so much. I love their relationship, and then Anakin and Ahsoka's relationship in the whole series.
Absolutely.
Both of those relationships are just built on and built on and built on. And then because Clone Wars is in between episode 2 and 3,
right,
you are able to see why 3 is so, like, it almost casts a new light on those first 3 movies. So that's my number 2. I'll stop talking. Yeah. You can go to your number 1.
Number 2.
Yeah, you're number 2. I'm having a hard time tonight.
Number 1.
You're number 2.
Okay, so my number 2 was season 1, episode 15, Trespass.
Yay!
Same as your number 3. It's a really interesting episode. The first thing, I'm going to pull my notes because I've got a couple of the names of things written down. So the blue race, the chairman and the senator or whatever, they're the Pantorans, which that is interesting because that's the race that's the other blue skin alien race that at the beginning of Thrawn, the book, he keeps getting mistaken for, or people will be like, yeah, he's not a Pantoran. So I thought, well, that's cool. We get to actually see who the Pantorans
are.
Yeah, exactly. And so that was kind of fun. And then the whole, it had a lot of depth. One of the cool things about Clone Wars, we talk a lot about in some of these cartoon shows, like Clone Wars and Avatar and some of these others. There's a lot of depth that is more adult, and this episode was a lot that there we see more politics in war and in things, and we also see the Jedi going to help races and kind of failing for a good chunk of the episode. It's kind of a disaster. They are trying to resolve peace, but this guy, whatever his name is, he's not going to have any of it, and he gums things up, and then they're attacked, and he's killed. And that goes crazy. And then the girl, the senator, her scene where she kind of steps up and faces the chieftain of the
clan,
the Talls, is the race, and she kind of faces them down, and C-3PO translating for her, which of course is C-3PO, and but it's cool, and they decide to live, I think is what they say. And it's just, you just kind of get to see, that's one of the coolest things about Clone Wars, the show, is you get to see this more complete picture of the war, and you see these different elements of war, and so that
more complex.
Yes,
too.
exactly.
Yeah.
And so I think that was a good one for
Side note, for any of you that are watching that have not watched Clone Wars or Rebels,
spoiler.
And you're thinking, spoiler alert, first of all. And second of all, you really should watch them, because I know that I didn't for a long time. And the reason was because it's a kid's show, right? It's animated, and I like some animated shows I've watched, things we won't even talk about, Attack on Titans and stuff like that. Sure. I've watched some in the past.
Stuff.
Anime, yeah. And so I get where there can be some adult stuff, but it's Disney. It's like, or Star Wars, it can't be that adult. It's got to be, but
it can't be as good as people say.
Exactly. But it really is. Like, you got to get through a few episodes, and you got to get into it a little bit. It's slow, but it does get there. Rebels hits off a lot faster than Clone Wars, and it's
character dynamics are super cool.
The first season is hard on the story. We were talking about this earlier, but the characters are just so good. You fall in love with them immediately, and they're so different, because you're not in Clone Wars, you've got these characters with Ahsoka, and then in Rebels you've got all these new characters that you don't know anything about, and so
they did a good job
introducing
them.
Yep.
So you're number one.
All right. So my number one from season 1 of Clone Wars is episode 22. It's called Hostage Crisis. And it is an episode that I think it's the first, I may be wrong on this, but I think it's the first that you see Cad Bane.
It is.
And so that's another one of my, even though he's a bad guy for most / all, he.
Oh yeah, definitely.
He's a cool character. I like his voice. The voice acting is great. And he's super just cool. He's a non-Jedi, non-Sith person that is kicking butt and taking names alongside the Jedi or the Sith, and not alongside.
He takes
but
on / takes out several Jedis throughout the show,
and it's just it's really cool. His character. So anyway, he is taking hostages, senators hostage in the Senate, and Palpatine is trying to hostage negotiate, and really probably doesn't really care, but he's trying to keep a good face,
because he's scheming everything in the
exactly as we see in episode 9. Spoiler alert. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, who else is in there? Oh gosh, what is her name?
Padme.
No, Aura Singh. It's another bounty hunter character.
Yes,
anyway, it's they're the thing I like. Obviously, I think it's the very last episode of season 1. Yes. So it's got the climax, and it's got kind of the ending, which is always normally the story at the end of all the seasons is some of the best.
Right.
And so it's got that, but I guess I just really like these bounty hunter characters. I have always been a person who really likes the Jedi and the Sith portion of Star Wars, I didn't even like the bounty hunter who is in the first 3 movies that everybody loves so much. Boba Fett.
Boba Fett.
Yeah, everybody is head over heels with him, and nothing against them, but there's not a lot of character build for him. And so there's been books. I've read a ton of Star Wars books, and I've seen books. Oh, they're not about a Jedi or Sith. Probably not going to read them. Well, I might now.
Bounty Hunter Wars is a good series.
I might now because first Mandalorian also is great, but this gave some more meat to the bounty hunter side of things, and it just showed, you know what? If written well and seen well, the bounty hunters can stay up with the Jedi and the Sith because sheer will and brain and technology and all the things. Yeah. So anyway, that is my number one.
So my number one is episode 22, whatever it's called, Hostage Crisis.
Nice.
When I was making this list, I was kind of having a hard time, kind of going through, and then I kind of was going through episode by episode, trying to remember all the different things. It's been a while since I've even watched the show. And then when I got to the end, I was like, okay, just kidding. That's definitely on my list. Yep. Because and honestly, we could say because Cad Bane. End of story. Goodbye. I mean, Cad Bane is one of the best characters in Clone Wars, and I do like Boba Fett. I mean, that's just this mystique around Boba Fett is the strangest likable character ever. I mean, because he does nothing except die. But Bounty Hunter Wars is a good series. It's not canon, but it follows him coming back to life after he crawls out of the Sarlacc pit, and it's actually really, really good. Worth the read, even though it's not canon. But Cad Bane is better than Boba Fett. Before I watched Clone Wars, I did. I said that out loud. Before I watched Clone Wars, I did one of those. I'm sure it was like BuzzFeed or something, Facebook deals of going through and answering who's better,
who are you or whatever.
Who knows what it was. And there was one where it was Cad Bane and Boba Fett, and I was like, Boba Fett, of course. I didn't even watch Clone Wars. That's like, and then Cad Bane was very popular. It'll show you the percentage of who's voted for. It's like, he can't be as good as Boba. I mean, I don't know who this guy is. I don't get it, but I get it now. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I didn't rewatch the whole episode, but when I was kind of getting ready for this, I kind of was flipping through, remembering pieces. Mm-hmm. He is one of the most ruthless, scary characters in a kid's cartoon show I have ever seen. I had forgotten how intense, and I don't know that dark is quite the right word, but in like ruthless it is. They go through and they take the Senate because they're trying to rescue Zero the Hutt or whatever, which is an annoying character. I didn't like him, but not as annoying as a little baby Hutt.
Yeah, the Hutts are not done very well. Yeah. Well, not that they're not done well. I think they don't fit. Yeah. What I would think the Hutts would be like from Jabba the Hutt.
Yes,
and, I mean, I agree.
They're a lot more silly, cartoony. But that's why they're there, and they take the Senate hostage and they rush in with these bounty hunters who are awesome. What was the girl's name you said?
Her
name.
Aura Singh.
Yeah, Aura Singh. She's really cool. Mm-hmm. She goes and she caps a stormtrooper in the head. These Senate guard blue stormtroopers. And you don't see it. But she very clearly kills him. And then just a few minutes later, they walk in, and Cad Bane with his amazing voice, amazing. I'm sure some of that. His is obviously an effect a little bit, but just the way it's done is really good. And he comes in with his voice and takes the Senate hostage with Padme in there, and this senator, I can't think, we were talking about whatever the race is, Greedo's race.
Oh, yeah.
One of the senators in there, he starts mouthing off whatever, and he says he's going to run away, and so he starts running away, and Cad Bane in cold blood turns around and shoots him in the back. Mm-hmm. And this is a kid's show, cold-blooded, shot in the back, murder on the screen. Yep. OMG. And so he's super awesome. Yep. There's some cool little Padme stuff, her taking charge. She's got Anakin's lightsaber hidden and that kind of stuff. And the other super cool thing, I love this, is they lose. The Jedis lose.
Yeah.
Cad Bane win. He does, you know, and this is repeated several times where he doesn't lose, and I mean he wins basically every time he's in an episode, just about, and he wins. He and it's really, really kick butt at the end. He's got Zero the Hutt, and Zero's gloating and whatever, and he's, you know, oh great, and Cad Bane is cold as ice. He said, okay, now it's time to pay up because I didn't do this for nothing. And the Hutt's like, oh dang it, and they don't really tell you what that means, and like there's clearly some subtext around that. And so yeah, very, very brave for a kid's show, very adult, very kick butt, coolest bounty hunter in Star Wars, easily. So yeah, that's my number one as well. Awesome. I love it.
Well, those are our top 3.
Yes, they are.
If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you disliked it, give it a thumbs down. Tell us why in the comments. Tell us what your favorite episodes are. Give us, you know, your top 3 whatever episodes of Clone Wars. It's an awesome series. Yep, season 1. It's an awesome series. We love it. We love giving you guys new content. So just give us some feedback. Let us know how we're doing.
That's right.
What you like to see. If you haven't subscribed, hit the little red thing and ring the bell.
All the bells. Ring them.
All the bells. And we will see you next time. Thank you, guys.